first bite until the meat ripens. The jabu, the prospect of the meal is to be relished as much as the eventual feast. Nabambo's pride is on the prowl. The older cubs are 10 months now, weaned, but still dependent upon Nabambo for food. Cubs are learning to stalk, but they won't kill for another 6 months. Young male lions are usually ejected from the pride when they are about 2 years old, fending for themselves. They form hunting groups with other isolated males. Nabambo's cubs aren't sure what to do with prey so close. But the lioness isn't far behind. Their time for hunting will come. Nabambo's 4-year-old daughter also lives with the pride. She is the mother of the group's youngest offspring, 7-week twins Umbeli and Damana. Cubs have been hidden since birth, and now stay close within the protective circle. Has little time for his small cub. When he is older, Damana will hunt with his father, but for the moment, the big male has nothing to do with his young son. Dejected, the cub finds solace among his siblings. Leaving the animal disabled. Efforts to lift the head fail, and rather than leave the giraffe vulnerable to predators, the young bull is shot by rangers. senses another kill nearby. A young giraffe slain by humans will provide meat for her cubs. Leaving the pride, Nabambo follows the scent. Nabambo has reached the kill, but her daughter is not first. Even though females hunt together, rivalry for the prey is fierce. The big lioness begins the trek back for her cubs. The youngsters have heard her call and they meet halfway. Nabambo settles herself in the long grass. The cubs are unfamiliar with her behavior. The female will usually head the charge with any kill, splitting the hide of the victim and leading the way for the pride to eat. But there is human scent around the giraffe. The big lioness is cautious. She watches her cubs, hidden, alert to any potential threat. The cubs are curious, confused by this new smell. The lioness moves in for a final check, but she has already made up her mind. The carcass is tainted. There are foreign traces, a dangerous ambience. Instinct tells her this is not food fit for the cubs. Disappointed, Nabambo moves away, the scent of another night storm already in the wind.
Bonga,
both males will sleep for the next day, oblivious of their surroundings. Lions hunting in pairs or groups have a success rate of around 30% in daylight, but studies show single hunters are more successful at night. Lions are sociable cats, the only group to take part in communal hunts. Ambush is an important part of the lion's strategy. Often one pride female will round up the prey from the front, driving it towards a second lioness. As in most cases, the pride male will only get involved if he has to. Accidents involving humans are rare in southern Africa's game reserves. Our primal fear of being eaten has been well documented. But in fact, lions seldom attack if they're not provoked. At Phinda, great care is taken to limit the number of people viewing game. Emphasis is placed on causing the animal as little stress as possible.
Man isn't a part of their natural food source. They don't normally go out and hunt people. I think your lions are opportunists though, and I certainly think that if your lion is very hungry and stress, I don't think they'll necessarily go out to hunt you down, but if you interfere with them, they'll certainly kill you. There's a good chance they might eat you at the same time. With all animals, it's how you treat them is what's the reaction you're going to get back from them. Certainly at Phinda, all our guides go through a training course and they're all brought up to a certain standard. There is a certain operating ethic with regards to viewing animals, and we certainly try and be as sensitive to the animals as possible.
Cradled within the arms of the Yabomba Mountains in the Indian Ocean, Phinda covers one of the most diverse regions of Africa. Here are found 7 different ecosystems, from palm savanna and bushveld to rare sand forest and dense thorn bush, all restored from the pastoral belt which had swept down the east coast. Where cotton, pineapple and cattle farms once stood, lion now roam their habitat again, alongside some traditional neighbours. Sees its responsibility to the region extending beyond restoration of habitat and wildlife. It provides schools and a clinic for the local Zulu community as well as employment. In the eyes of Andrew Lewis, essential ingredients for a successful operation.
Very important to involve the communities around your reserve, because they have to benefit as well. There's no point in just taking land, get some investors to invest in it. If you don't allow the people that are on the periphery of that reserve to benefit from it, immense problem with poaching, and then you cut your fences down, and you just have an uphill battle.
Helped round up Pinder's first pride, handling the lion's capture and subsequent move south. Today, he's head vet at the Hoedspruit Research and Breeding Centre for Endangered Species, overseeing its cheetah breeding program. But it's the discovery of what's believed to be a long-extinct strain of lion that has put Peter's centre on the map.
We were involved in the rescue of these circus animals that came down through Africa and were abandoned in Maputo. We were just phoned up by an animal welfare group called Animal Defenders based in London, and they said, could we just keep these animals temporary? First they mentioned tigers, and then they came back and said, well, there's 6 lions as well. So we said, yeah, we could hold them temporary just until they found permanent homes for them, but basically get them out of the predicament that they were and the shocking conditions that they were in Maputo and Mozambique.
When the lions arrived at the breeding centre, their size, pale colouring, and the male's thick black belly mane put them into the category of the Cape or Barbary lion, not seen in the wild since the early 1920s. A few still exist in captivity, and a male and female were brought to South Africa from an Italian zoo for breeding purposes. But attempts to mate Arkev, the big male from the ill-fated Mozambique circus, with the Italian female are proving difficult. Even preventing the lioness from eating when the meat truck arrives. Finally though, Sissy makes her breakthrough.
We'll see you up in the front there, Mark. You're going to go to that sort of middle central area. Where are you going to go?
In the next enclosure, Arturo, the Italian Barbary male, is about to be sedated. His attention to his sister Cece through the fence is hampering mating efforts, and Peter Rogers is keen to move the big male. He shoots the dart into Arturo's rump. Arturo has been sterilized, but while his breeding days are finished, he'll live out his days at the centre. His female companion, another Barbary from the Mozambique circus, is drawn away by the meat truck. It's 20 minutes before the anaesthetic takes effect. gives Peter Rogers and his team a chance to check over the 12-year-old lion. He'll spend a few weeks in this cage before being returned to his enclosure for observation.
It's very exciting to be part of this project because they feel that there are perhaps not many Barberries, if any, that are really pure, that are left even in captivity. They feel that over time other animals from other genetic bases are brought in. So there's a big project afoot at Oxford University to do the genetics, so that's just getting off the ground now. Okay. Just put under the skin of the neck if we can find the skin under this big beard of his. Lions wouldn't have this many ticks, but being from Italy, a European lion, you don't have that innate or inherent resistance to ticks. It does come with time. So what we can do is we can put him in there and roll him over inside. Immediate term now is to get these ones to breed. And we'll take it day by day from here and see how it goes. But the prime object initially was just to get these animals back into good health. It's to develop into something a lot bigger.
While the breeding centre's lions are healthy, it's not the case a few kilometres away in the Kruger National Park, where TB has ravaged half the population. Infected buffalo have been blamed for the outbreak, primarily in the south of the park, and attempts are being made to fence off the diseased area.
Are preying on infected buffalo. Of course, it's an exotic disease, not an indigenous disease. The lions are totally naive and they've got no resistance to it. So it's a big problem. It's a very difficult decision to make as to what to do. It's a very topical and heated subject at the moment.
scarce at this time of year, so the pride's territory reproducified for nearly a year now. But the Bumbo will prefer a larger group of males around her. Eventually, though, Jabu will have to join forces with other males to have a chance of keeping this pride. The big male is only 7 years old and a fine specimen, weighing in at just under 200 kilograms. For the moment, he's secure. Although tonight, the Bumbo has hunting on her mind. Cubs follow in the lioness's wake. If there is a kill, she will feed first. Often, weak cubs lose out to a hungry mother. High juvenile mortality rates are the result of lead times. Jabu has had enough. He's been walking for hours. Sleep is more important. And the zebra he ate 2 days ago will suffice for another night. Has had her fill. For the moment, anyway. Lions never eat the stomach of a kill. She will bury it before dragging off the carcass. This way, hyenas and other predators are thrown off the scent. The evidence has been buried. The carcass is no more. Daughter hears the call. It is the second rest of the pride will feast on the carcass after the vulva retires. But first, they will drag it into the bushes, away from prying eyes, away from the raptors already circling the kill scene. Even the hippo, its bad temper legendary, is flustered, anxious to protect its waterhole. Wildebeest are a favourite prey for lions. Naturally, they feel vulnerable. But for the pride, there is no agitation. Gorged, they will sleep for the next day. Even Mbeli and Damana, the 7-week twins, have tasted blood for the first time, but it will be many months before they take part in a hunt. For the moment, they just want to play with Nkosi. In the meantime, though, he has to contend with his young sibling. Jabu rejoins the pride. He has missed out on the kill, but he didn't share his zebra with the rest of the pride the previous day. A half-hearted attempt at mating, but the big lion's attention is drawn to a curious onlooker. With the pride so close, the giraffe won't be sitting for long. Drinking and sitting is when they are at their most vulnerable. Jabu keeps an eye on his group. Pride takeovers by other males are common, and savage fights can occur between the pride male and the intruder. If a takeover is successful, the new male will usually kill all the suckling young of his former rival. When a nursing mother loses her cubs, she comes into heat within a few weeks. The normal interval between cubs is about 2 years, with a gestation time of 3 to 4 months. Jabu marks his territory, but it may soon be all in vain. A fresh infusion of lion genes is necessary to avoid the effects of long-term inbreeding. It's likely Jabu and his son Tembi will be swapped for males from another game reserve. This will broaden the bloodlines of future lions.